everybody, Serena here from Whole Shift Wellness. Hope everybody's doing fabulous. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm here to check in with you all for a very brief 20 minutes talk revolving around nutrition, just sharing some basic principles, especially for those of you, but in general for all of you, but especially for those of you who are participating in the challenge, and just kind of inspiring you, sharing some knowledge, as we'll continue to do over the course of the next few weeks, to keep you accountable and motivated to continue to take the best possible care of yourselves during these quite challenging times. I will not get tired of saying that I understand and appreciate that things are tough right now. Your routines are disrupted. Many of you are working from home, so you're not going into the office anymore, and so you're stuck at home all day. Some of you even with children. Meal times are starting to go out the window. It's much easier to graze endlessly and seek comfort in food during these times, and so it's kind of a bit of a structureless time in our lives, and it's very hard to stay on track and to remain present when, especially with our eating and our food intake, when our structures are all over the place, like they're bound to be during these days. And really, this is fundamentally the reason why we started the challenge to begin with, to create some sense of structure and some sense of control during a time when many things feel out of our hand and out of our control. And this has a powerful impact on food and your nutrition, because, and if you've seen any of my previous talks or videos around food, you will know that I truly believe that we are all emotional eaters to some extent or another. We all eat with our emotions. Our emotions are bound to condition how we eat and why we eat it and what food choices we make. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. We just have to become present with it and realize when we cross the line into self-sabotage and self-destruction. So I'll talk a little bit about that now, but before I do that, I just wanted to briefly explain two of the challenges, two of the tasks that are a part of the Stay Healthy in Lockdown challenge, which revolve around nutrition, and why I put them there. By the way, I'm going to ask Alice, who's currently checked in, to let me know when I run out of time, when it's been roughly 20 minutes. I don't want to make this video longer. I forgot to grab a watch. So Alice, I can see that you're there. Can you let me know when it's been roughly 20 minutes so I can make time for getting some live questions from all of you that are checked in. 2 liters of water a day. That was one of the tasks that I have chosen as a part of the Stay Healthy in Lockdown challenge. Why did I put that on there? Hydration is of fundamental importance. Drinking enough water throughout the day is one of the most basic things that you can do to take the best possible care of yourself. And by the way, nothing works the way water works. So it's really important, although there are things such as herbal teas that can count towards your daily hydration, generally speaking, I really encourage everybody to make sure that they're drinking enough plain filtered water, maybe with some electrolytes as well if you feel the need for it. The reason why water is so important are multiples. First of all, if you drink enough, you are way less likely to overeat. Very many times, and I find this in my own life, and I find it with the work that we do with our shifters, the body mistakes thirst for hunger. Or actually, it's not quite that the body mistakes it, it's that we mistake the signal of thirst for hunger. And so we feel like we need something, we feel a little bit peckish, and we feel a little bit restless, and we think that what the body is asking for is food, when actually what the body really needs is water. And so if you are not properly hydrated, it's going to be way more likely that you are eating food that you don't really need, or you're eating when you actually, what you really need is a drink of water. At least 2 liters a day is just a generic ballpark. Really, it should be half your body weight in ounces minimum. This is if you don't do any physical exercise, so if you do not sweat. Because if you do sweat, then you also have to make sure that you're not only drinking the minimum water that you need for all your daily functions, but that you're also replenishing the water that you're losing through sweating. Water is fundamental for transporting nutrients throughout the body, for eliminating toxins, and it's actually a fundamental element for all functions of the body to happen the way they should. So do not underestimate the importance of drinking water. I have made a habit for myself now, and I started off gradually, but I drink at least half of my daily requirement of water first thing in the morning. So the first thing I do as soon as I get up in the morning is I go downstairs to the kitchen and I drink 2 whole pints of warm water with a little bit of lemon juice. And you don't have to go straight into 2 pints, by the way. But remember that after a long night's sleep, your body you've gone for at least 8 hours, sometimes even 10, without drinking one single sip of water. So everybody wakes up in a state of a lack of hydration. So before you put anything else into your body, you need to put water in there and fully hydrate. This will kick off your system, it will aid elimination, it will clear all the toxins that are now stagnating for your night's sleep. It will immediately wake you up and make you feel energized. So I'm not against coffee. I drink a cup of coffee a day myself, and I'm not gonna demonize coffee, but before you reach for the coffee in the morning, you gotta get some water in your system. I highly recommend that. What that does as well, if you embed it as a daily routine to drink plenty of water first thing in the morning, is that you don't run the risk of forgetting throughout the day and you run less of a risk, I should say, of becoming dehydrated throughout the day, because if you've already gotten your 2 pints or half a liter or whatever first thing in the morning, then you're already halfway through. So that is why I put it down as one of the fundamental tasks to stay healthy during lockdown. It will help you in so many ways. It will keep you healthy, it will avoid overeating, it will allow toxins for getting cleared out of the system, it will keep your digestive system going and your elimination process going. Just learn to drink water. There's so many people out there who actually don't have a taste for water, and I'm telling you, you can't beat it. The second task that I put on there, which is relating to nutrition, and I put it on the Stay Healthy in Lockdown challenge, is to eat at least 5 portions of plants every single day. Now, this is really the bare minimum, and I have just put plants as like a generic category, and what I mean by plants is any fruits, any vegetables, and any whole grains, consumed in as much as possible in as close to their natural state as you can get your hands on. Now, some people find 5 portions to be very much. But like I said, I've grouped them all together. So it's fruit together with veggies, together with whole grains. Just 5 portions of any of these combined together a day. A portion size is really the size of the palm of your hand. And this is different for every single one of us. We all have different size hands. But it is different for a reason. It's because we all have different calorie and nutrient requirements. So generally speaking, if you're using the palm of your hand as a benchmark to measure a portion size, you are getting the amount that it is sufficient for your body size. And if you think about that, really 5 handfuls of fruit, vegetables, legumes and whole grains throughout the whole day is really not that much. A large salad probably contains 3 to 4 handfuls already. A pasta with vegetables is probably already 2 handfuls in the vegetables and sauce. A bowl of oatmeal with blueberry and almonds is probably easy already 3 or 4 handfuls, because oats, if you buy the whole grain kind, count as a whole grain, and the nuts count as a plant, and so does the fruit on top. So it's really not that much if you make a habit of eating unprocessed foods every single day. You will only run into trouble of not reaching this minimum goal if you are predominantly eating highly processed foods. What is processed foods? Processed foods are, generally speaking, foods that are ready-made and packaged. So they are sold in a package of sort. Generally speaking, is any foods that contain more than 5 ingredients. Again, I'm generalizing, but generally speaking, if it contains more than 5 ingredients, it's to be classified as a processed food. And also, generally speaking, it is foods or meals that contain ingredients that have names that you don't really recognize, and they're not straight up food ingredients. They have chemical additives to them, which are generally added to enhance flavor and make them more long-lasting on the shelves. Now, processed foods do not count as whole foods, so you couldn't count them as a part of your 5 portions of plants a day. They have been manufactured in most cases. They've been manufactured in a laboratory. So although they're made to look like food that is made in a kitchen, and it probably is executed in a kitchen, the recipes and all these additives and preservatives are made in a laboratory. Most processed food is designed for you to eat more than what you actually need of it. And you'll have heard this in some very popular commercials even. They don't hide it from us. It's things like, once you pop, you can't stop. All processed food, generally speaking, is not designed to be eaten in moderation. So the moment you make processed foods your choice of foods for the day, you are way more likely to overeat, so eat bigger quantities than you actually need, and consume greater calories than you actually need, because they tend to be more calorie dense. They are generally stripped of most of their fiber content, and fiber is a beautiful nutrient because, first of all, it is an essential nutrient. The body doesn't make it. You need it to function optimally, and you only get it from the food, but it's only contained in whole plant foods. Fiber contains 0 calories, so but it contains a great deal of volume. So it allows you, eating foods that contain greater amounts of fibers allows you to get fuller for longer with less calories. Fiber has the most fundamental job, which is that of binding with toxins and items that the body needs to get rid of, so that you can then get rid of in your elimination process. So not only does it keep you regular, but it actually binds with these toxic elements so that you can get rid of these toxic elements when you go to the bathroom. And so there are so many benefits that come from making sure every single day that you're eating at least 5 portions of foods, of plant foods that are unprocessed, that contain a lot of fiber. Another reason why I put these 5 portions in there and why I think this is of fundamental importance is because it is important to remember that your body doesn't think in terms of calories. Your body doesn't think about how many calories it needs in a day to function optimally. Calories is just a way of measuring food intake that we humans have created to be able to keep track of things, etc. The body doesn't think in terms of calories as much as it thinks in terms of nutrients. In order for you to function optimally and be your most healthy self, you need to reach the minimum amount of all the macro and micronutrients that your systems need to function optimally. Macronutrients are things like carbs, protein, and fat. Micronutrients are all the vitamins and minerals that the body needs to function optimally. So in order to feel healthy, you need to get not only all the protein, fat, and carbohydrates and fiber that you need each day, and water, but you also need all the micronutrients, all the vitamins, the minerals, excuse the dog. So micronutrients are only contained in vitamins and minerals are only contained or mostly contained in whole plant-based foods. Processed foods contain little to no nutrients, and so when you shift your diet as much as possible away from processed food and towards unprocessed plant foods, you are also increasing considerably the amount of vitamins and minerals that you consume. This means that you're giving your body what it actually truly needs, and you're giving it to it with more fiber and less calories. So just to give you an example to bring this message home, have you ever had a highly processed meal, such as, I don't know, a fast food meal, like maybe a McDonald's meal, and polished off the whole meal in full knowledge that it contained way more than the calories that you needed for just one meal in many instances? Like, I think those meals have thousands of calories in them. But at the end of the meal, you're still feeling dissatisfied. You're not feeling particularly full, and you're still craving and missing something and feel a little bit ravenous. You almost feel like you could have the whole thing all over again, even though you know that you've just consumed thousands of calories. I know that most of you will have had this experience. I've had this experience myself. I've never eaten McDonald's, but I had processed food, and I know what it's like to eat a whole big meal which contains thousands of calories and feel like dissatisfied, something is missing, and you could eat the whole thing all over again. The reason why this is twofold. One, like I just said, processed food is designed for you to want more than you actually need of it. So scientists in laboratories come up with the perfect combination of salt and sugar and fat, which triggers certain literally biochemical responses, so that your body almost displays a sense of addiction towards these food items, and once you pop, you can't stop. Once you start eating it, you're gonna find it very, very hard to stop eating it, and you're very likely to overeat on it. This is the first reason. This food is not designed to be eaten in moderation. The second reason why you can eat a whole fast food meal which contains thousands of calories and still feel like you could eat more and more and more is because processed food does not contain micronutrients. So your body, which is not just thinking in terms of calories, it's also most importantly thinking in terms of all the nutrients it needs to function optimally, will continue to ask for what it needs until you give it to it. And so therefore you're still ravenous and peckish, and you feel like something is missing, and you feel like you could be eating more, because all the calories in the world will not be sufficient to it if they don't contain all the nutrients that you need to function optimally. So including whole unprocessed plant foods into your diet will make sure that you're getting all the nutrients that you require, all the fiber that you require, and it will make sure that you're not eating more calories that you actually need, so that you can meet your daily needs without putting on weight. These are the two fundamental reasons why I chose these as the two items for the Stay Healthy in Lockdown challenge. And I'm telling you, if you can stick with these two principles of nutrition for the whole duration of whatever it is that's going on in the world, you will find yourself in a much greater place at the end of this than if you don't. I hope this is all clear. I know there's quite a few of you checked in. Let me know if you have any questions on these two principles or anything that I have talked about up until this point. The last point that I want to touch on, thank you, yes, I got that. The last point that I want to touch on before finishing this little live recap is one thing that you can do. Oh, hold on, I have a question here. Is it, in my opinion, important to add vitamins? I'm guessing what Alice means is, should we take supplement, like vitamin supplement, into our diet? This is a brilliant question, by the way. And I get asked this question very often. I often get asked, do you think we can get all the nutrients, macro and micro, that we need from diet only, or should we take some supplements? And so what I'm going to, instead of sharing this last principle, I'm going to answer this question because it's a really great question, and thank you for asking, Alice. The general rule of thumb is, as much as possible, to consume the highest amount of foods which are naturally rich in all the vitamins and minerals that we need, so that we can get as much as possible of our daily requirements through the food that we eat. The reason why this is so important is because we don't really fully know, science doesn't really fully know how it is that the body absorbs all the nutrients that it needs. In fact, we don't even know all of the nutrients that exist in the world. Every year, science discovers new nutrients that were known before. So the reason why getting the nutrients from food is better than getting nutrients from supplements is because this is how Mother Nature intended us to get our nutrients. It put them in the foods, and it put them in the exact right proportions as we need, and the right combinations, by the way, because some nutrients are better absorbed when they are combined. The moment you try and fulfill your nutrient needs with supplements, inevitably you'll be missing out on something. So the basic rule of thumb is, as much as possible, consume foods that are naturally rich in all the nutrients that we need, such as whole plant-based foods, like I just said. However, it is also important to note that sadly, in this day and age, our food chain has become quite disrupted. This is because of the way we go about producing food, which is not the natural way that it was designed. We don't necessarily always eat products that are in season. Sometimes products are transported for weeks on end before they get to the shelf, and the soil is depleted of nutrients because we're making way more food than the soil is designed to produce. So even if you eat a perfect diet, even if you eat the diets that we choose to eat, which is 100% unprocessed, whole plant-based, 90% of the time, chances are that you're still lacking some nutrients, and I'll do another live on this to expand. And so it's certain nutrients you're still probably going to need to supplement, to take extra supplements for them. What I don't want you to do, the connection is going in and out. What I don't want you to do is, I don't want you to think that you can rely just on supplements for all your nutrients intake. The word supplement means literally to supplement, to add on what's missing. So once you clean up your diet and make sure that you're getting as much as you can from your diet, then whatever is missing, you can add the supplement for. What I see many people do is, I see them think in terms of, oh, it doesn't matter what I eat, as long as I pop this one multivitamin a day, I know I will be fine. And that's not what supplements are designed for. Supplements are not designed to substitute healthy eating. So you will never get all that you need from just a pill, because like I said just before, we don't even know all the nutrients that exist in the world. So you're bound to miss out on something, and you're bound to miss out on the right combinations of nutrients. This is a big topic, and I don't want to go on for longer because I know it's almost 30 minutes. If you want me to go into more details as to what I believe are the supplements that everybody should add to their diet, I can do another live session, so just let me know. And I hope this was useful and that you got some value out of it. Any questions for everybody who is gonna catch the replay? Feel free to type the questions in the comments, and I will make sure to address them at a later time. And if you have any specific requests as to what you would like me to cover in the next nutrition talk and Q&A, just give me a nudge and let me know. And a marvelous day. See you guys very soon.